a mistaken surrogate for the ruthless billionaire. That night, New York City was covered in heavy rain. In a small apartment, Lily Evans stared at a job rejection letter with tears streaming down her cheeks. It felt like this was the last blow that shattered the little hope he still had. The letter not only signifies failure to get a job, but also further emphasizes his position in the world as someone who always loses in life. With a trembling voice, he said to himself, "I can't continue like this." However, in the midst of that despair, life has another plan for him. A plan that will change everything in an unexpected way. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Alexander Blackwood, a famous billionaire with a reputation for being cold and uncompromising, looked at the contract document in his hand with a keen gaze. The contract is the final part of a grand plan he has drawn up to ensure the survival of his surname. However, there was one small mistake in its execution. One small mistake that will lead him to a meeting that changes everything. Unexpected mistakes. Lily was sitting in the corner of a small cafe, looking at the job board on her phone. He had applied to more than 20 places in the past 2 weeks, but all ended in rejection. Meanwhile, the heavy rain outside added to the gloomy atmosphere. He didn't realize that someone was watching him from a distance. "Miss Evans." A firm voice broke the silence. Lily raised her face and saw a well-dressed man standing before her. His eyes were sharp. His face didn't show any emotion. "Yes, me," Lily replied, confused. "What's wrong? Come with me. Mr. Blackwood is already waiting for you," he said, in a tone that did not open up room for questions. Before Lily could answer, the man handed over a large envelope of cash and a note. "Follow her." Lily looked at the envelope with a puzzled look. However, her financial needs urge her to accept the offer, even though she doesn't know what awaits her. Meeting with Alexander. The Blackwood Enterprises skyscraper stands majestically in the middle of the city, a symbol of power and success. With a hesitant step, Lily followed the man into the elevator that took him to the top floor. The elevator door opened, and he was greeted by a spacious room with modern decor that reflected infinite wealth. However, what caught her most attention was the man sitting behind a large table at the end of the room. Alexander Blackwood. His gaze was cold, as if he could penetrate the outermost layer of one's self and read the deepest secrets. He watched Lily with an unpredictable expression before finally saying, "You're not the person I expected." Lily felt her blood rustle. "I'm sorry, I think this is a mistake," he said nervously. Alexander looked at him without blinking. "Maybe it's a mistake, but you seem to be suitable for my task. I need someone to give birth to the heir to the Blackwood family. There are no emotions, no attachments. Just a contract." Lily was surprised. The words felt so cold and heartless, like something that could be broken down into small pieces in a table of numbers. Difficult choice. That night, Lily sat in her small apartment, holding the contract in her hand. The amount of money offered made his eyes wide open. That amount was enough to pay off all his debts, pay rent for years, and even give him a better life. However, the price to be paid feels much greater than the written figure. She called her best friend Mia. "I don't know what to do. They offered me money to be a surrogate mother," Lily said, her voice full of doubt. "Surrogate mother? For whom?" asked Mia in disbelief. "A man named Alexander Blackwood," Lily replied quietly. On the other end of the phone, Mia was silent for a while before finally saying, "Lily, you have to be careful. A person like him never did something for no reason. But if this can help you, I support you." 2 days later, Lily returned to Alexander's office. He signed the contract, although his heart was still full of doubts. Alexander just nodded and said, "You've made a wise choice. A tricky beginning." Lily moves into Alexander's mansion, a mansion that looks like a palace from the outside. Every corner of the house reflects luxury, from crystal lights hanging from the ceiling to a sprawling garden with a glittering swimming pool. However, behind all that, Lily felt alienated. His days are filled with routine health checks, nutritious meals, and supervision from staff who never seem to sleep. Alexander himself is rarely seen. When they met, their conversation was always short and full of formality. However, one night, when Lily felt nauseous due to the effects of pregnancy, Alexander knocked on her room door. He brought a cup of warm tea and said in an awkward tone, "This can help." Lily was surprised by the gesture. Behind his cold demeanor, there is another side of Alexander that is beginning to be seen, although he still tries to hide it. Growing feelings. As time goes by, Lily and Alexander's relationship begins to change. Alexander, who had initially kept his distance, began to show an unexpected little attention. She is present at every doctor's checkup, ensuring Lily gets the best possible care. Lily begins to see that behind her cold mask, Alexander is hiding something deeper. "Why do you always keep your distance from others?" asked Lily one night as they talked in the living room. Alexander was silent for a moment before replying in a low voice, "Because people only look at my money. They never care who I really am." That answer made Lily think. He began to understand that Alexander was not just a billionaire without a heart. He is someone who is hurt by the world, who only sees what he can give, not who he really is. New issues. The relationship between Lily and Alexander begins to develop, but not all goes smoothly. One day, Veronica, Alexander's ex-fiancée, shows up at the mansion without notice. His arrival brings a new storm in Lily's life. With expensive clothes and an arrogant attitude, Veronica looked at Lily with obvious contempt. "So this is it? The woman you chose to replace me?" he said in a cynical tone. Alexander immediately approached Veronica with a tense face. "Veronica, this is not your business," he said firmly. However, those words did not stop Veronica. She continued to throw sarcasm, making Lily feel small. Although Alexander tries to protect her, Lily begins to doubt her place in Alexander's life. The painful truth. One night, Lily overheard Alexander's conversation with her assistant, Richard. "It's all about the air, Richard. Nothing more," Alexander said in a cold tone. Lily's heart was broken. All the little attention he thought was sincere turned out to be only part of Alexander's grand plan. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. His mind was full of doubts and pain. "He feels like a tool, not a human." With tears in his eyes, he decided to leave. He left the house with a brief note. "I can't continue this. Sorry." When Alexander found the note, he was silent for a long time. There was something missing inside him, something he had never felt before. For the first time, Alexander felt afraid of losing. Chases under the rain. Alexander did not stay silent. With all the resources at his disposal, he tracked Lily to a small town outside of New York. That night, it rained heavily when he finally found where Lily lived. He knocked on the small door with great tension. Lily opened the door, surprised to see Alexander standing there, drenched in rain. "Why are you here?" he asked in a trembling voice. "I'm here because I'm wrong," Alexander replied, his voice full of emotion. "I don't just need you for this baby. I need you in my life." Lily was silent, her heart palpitating. On the one hand, he wanted to believe Alexander's words. But on the other hand, the wound in his heart was too deep. "How can I trust you again?" she asked with tears in her eyes. Alexander looked at him sincerely. "Because I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving it to you." New beginnings. After a long night of conversation, Lily decides to give Alexander a second chance. However, it sets clear boundaries. I'm not going back to that life unless you can prove that I'm more than just part of your plan, she said firmly. Alexander agreed without hesitation. He began to change his view of their relationship, no longer just as a transaction, but as something real. He began to show the side of himself that had been hidden, the tender side full of care and affection. Delayed happiness. Time passed, and their relationship deepened. Lily and Alexander find a way to trust and support each other. Lily begins to feel comfortable again, while Alexander shows that she really wants to build something real. On a sunny day, Alexander takes Lily for a walk in the garden near their home. There, with a more open face than before, he said, "I want us to be a family. Not just for this baby, but for the two of us." Lily smiled slightly, her heart beginning to accept the fact that the man in front of her had changed. "Then show me, Alexander. Prove that we can do it together." That day marks the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Not as ruthless billionaires and surrogate mothers, but as two people trying to find love in the midst of chaos. Steps to trust. After deciding to give Alexander a second chance, Lily sets the conditions that must be met. Alexander, for the first time, accepted the request of others wholeheartedly. Their relationship is no longer about contracts, but a journey of building trust. Alexander began by sharing the hidden sides of himself, including bitter memories of his childhood. "People thought my life was perfect because I had everything," Alexander said one night in their living room. "But the truth is, I grew up under pressure that I never imagined. Everything has to be perfect. There is no room for mistakes or emotions." Lily listened attentively. He began to see the man behind Alexander's cold persona. For Lily, moments like these are the beginning of a big step towards a deeper relationship. Fighting with the past. Their lives are not completely calm. Veronica, who never really gave up, reappears with the intention of messing up Lily and Alexander's relationship. This time, he brought not only insults, but also threats that he would publish the story of their secret contract to the media. Alexander immediately took action. Firmly, he faced Veronica. "You don't have the right to interfere in my life anymore," he said in a sharp tone. However, Veronica responded with a sly smile. "You may be able to protect Lily, but you can't protect your reputation forever." This confrontation brought new tensions in Alexander and Lily's relationship. However, Lily begins to see how Alexander has changed. She no longer hides her own problems. Instead, it involves Lily in every step taken to resolve this conflict. Proof of love. Alexander knew that actions meant more than words. He begins to show his love and commitment to Lily in simple but meaningful ways. He accompanies her in every doctor's checkup, makes sure that she is at her best comfort, and takes the time to talk from heart to heart. "I want you to know," he said one day while holding Lily's hand, "that I didn't do this because of a contract. I did it because I wanted us to be a family. I want you to feel loved and appreciated." Lily, who had been doubting Alexander's sincerity, began to see honesty in her every action. The doubts that once dominated her heart slowly disappeared, replaced by the hope that their relationship really had a chance. New wonders. The long-awaited day has finally arrived. Their babies are born in an atmosphere full of happiness and hope. Alexander, who had never imagined himself to be a father, felt that his life now had a new meaning. When she held her son for the first time, she felt a warmth she had never felt before. "I didn't know that I could feel like this," she told Lily as she looked at their baby lovingly. "You've given me something I can't buy with money or power. A family." Lily smiled, her eyes filled with tears. He knew that their journey was not finished, but for now he felt enough. Happy new beginnings. After the birth of their son, Lily and Alexander decided to get married. The event was held in a large garden in their home, surrounded by family and closest friends. Lily, in a simple but elegant wedding dress, walked towards the altar with a happy smile, while Alexander waited for her with a loving gaze. "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to prove myself," Alexander said as they exchanged promises. "I promise to take care of you and our family, no matter what." The marriage became the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Lily and Alexander are no longer two individuals bound by contract, but rather a couple united by love and trust. They know that life is not always perfect, but as long as they are together, they can face whatever comes their way. Unexpected changes. After their marriage, Lily and Alexander began a new chapter in their lives as a married couple. Although initially their relationship was established through a contract, now love and trust have really grown between them. Alexander, who was once known as a cold man, began to show the soft side that had been hidden. "You know," Alexander said one night as they sat together on the balcony of their house, "I never imagined that I could feel like this. My life has always been about control and strategy, but with you I learned that there are things I can't control, and that's okay." Lily smiled, grabbing her husband's hand. "I also never imagined being here, with someone who cared more than I thought." Their conversation that night confirmed how far they had gone from two strangers to a loving couple. New exams. However, their happiness did not last long without challenges. Alexander's harsh business world begins to drag them back into intrigue and competition. One of Alexander's business rivals tries to take advantage of Lily's past to ruin Alexander's reputation. Old photos and speculation about their contracts began to appear in the media. Lily felt devastated. "It's all my fault," he said as he cried in Alexander's arms. "My past haunts you. I'm just a burden." Alexander looked at him sternly. "No, Lily, you're not a burden. You are my strength. I'll protect us, no matter what they try to do." With the help of his legal team, Alexander managed to clear their names and silence media speculation. This struggle further strengthened their relationship. Little miracle. In the midst of all the difficulties, Lily finds herself pregnant again. This news brought great happiness into their lives. Alexander, who had previously felt unfamiliar with the role of a father, was now looking forward to a new member of their family. "This baby is a symbol of our love," Alexander said one day while stroking Lily's belly. "He will grow up in a loving family, not the fear I had in the past." Lily felt happy tears flowing. "I can't wait to see us build the family I've always dreamed of." This pregnancy brought more moments of closeness between them, making their relationship even stronger. Resolving old wounds. Alexander decides to confront one thing that has always haunted him: his relationship with his own family. He invited his mother, who had been estranged from him, to come and meet Lily and her granddaughter. "Why do you want me to come after everything that happened?" asked his mother in a skeptical tone. "Because I want my children to know that family is important," Alexander replied honestly. "I don't want to repeat the mistakes we made in the past." The meeting was not easy, but slowly, the fractured relationship began to recover. Lily plays a big role in bridging the gap between Alexander and his mother. A bright future. A few years later, Alexander and Lily stood in front of their house, watching their two children play in the park. Their lives were full of happiness and love, something they had never imagined before. "I didn't know that I could feel this happy," Alexander said as he embraced Lily. "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to fix everything." Lily smiled, looking at her husband lovingly. "We fix everything together, and I can't wait to see what we're going to build in the future." With their love growing and their family growing stronger, Lily and Alexander know that they are ready for whatever lies ahead together.